Hello, so I'm Kyle, and today I'm going to talk about kpmcore, explain about what this library is, and I think that most of you know what KDE Partition Manager is, so I will not explain that. And I will talk about the release of KDE Partition Manager 4.0 and the goals for the future of the library. So for those who don't know me yet, I'm Caio, and I'm a Brazilian KDE contributor, and I work with KDE Partition Manager, Calamares, which is maintained by Adrian, and now I'm starting a new KDE application which is called Mark, and is a dataset builder for AI and supervised machine learning. And also, I'm a student at the Federal Institute of Bahia. So these are my presentation topics. I will start explaining about kpmcore, about my work on season of KDE 2018, about my work on Google Summer of Code 2018, and I've been working as a mentor in Google Summer of Code 2019. I will explain some new features released in the KDE Partition Manager 4.0 and the goals for the future. So for those who don't know what kpmcore is, it's basically the core of the KDE Partition Manager, as the name suggests. And it's basically a library for managing partitions, doing some disk operations, and it includes now RAID support, LVM support, and it can be used by not only KDE Partition Manager, but other applications. It is used by Calamares, the partitioning module of Calamares. And it has been in development for some amount of a good number of years. And first, I will explain my work on season of KDE 2018, which was focused on the replacement of a maintained Libiata Smart library to the parsing of the smart control command in KDE Partition Manager. So Libiata Smart is a library to manage the smart support, to see some information about your disks, about the status of your disks, and some other data. But it's not maintained since 2010, 2011, so we decided to use the Smart Control instead, which was released in this year for smartphone tools. And one of my works involved the parsing of the Smart Control JSON output. I could remove the Libiata Smart library dependency, and I also worked on something more than the smart support, which was the improvement of the authentication support with kout. So users can now do only one step of authentication instead of many. And during Google Summer of Code 2018, I could finish LVM group support on KDE Partition Manager, and I've also implemented some graphic interfaces for LVM support in Calamares as well. I've also implemented MD RAID support, so full support actually, not only the creation of RAID devices, but the edit, the manipulation, and all the other procedures. It's not full stable now. That's why we couldn't release it with KDE Partition Manager 4.0, because there are some issues with the device mapping. But one of our goals that I will explain later is to merge the MD RAID work with kpmcore. And there is also a plan to integrate not only MD RAID, but DM RAID, which are two different types of RAID for Linux. During Google Summer of Code 2019, we worked with our student Shubhan on the support the authentication process from Kout to Polkit Qt1 because we needed to remove the extra layers from Kout and use Polkit Qt directly. And our student also needed to improve the key debug communication because now the authentication process is done by the helper. We start a debug helper which we can use to do the process that need authentication. And in KDE Partition Manager from 4.0, we could port the kpmcore backend from libported to SF disk. This is part of one of our plans to make KDE Partition Manager more portable, including the portability to FreeBSD. And my work with the smart support was merged, and we included the better support for Lux 2, which was implemented in KDE Partition Manager 3.3 by Andrius. And now we have the support for some new file systems such as APFS and Microsoft BitLocker. We also include the modern C++ and all these ports on both of Smart and SF disks made the KPM more portable. And goals for the future, as I said before, we want to bring full compatibility with FreeBSD, and we also want to finish the Polkit port, because now there are some issues with the current implementation, especially on the scanning process. And we want to evolve FS support, include some specific features for file systems, and merge MD RAID and finish the implementation of DM RAID. And another goal is to increase the number of automated tests, because now we do not have a proper number of tests in KDE Partition Manager. And that's it. I would like to say thanks to KDE for this opportunity and all the other opportunities that I have received. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Kaio. Are there questions about kpmcore? It's not his fault, it's Calamatas' fault, okay?
How did you know what I was going to ask? We want to use Calamaris in Neon, and one of the limitations is full disk encryption. Is that your fault, or is that his fault? Where's the responsibility for that?
Probably it's Andrew's fault, but I'm not like say that it's his fault.
I don't like blaming people. It's my fault. Other questions? Yep, we got one up there.
Is it possible for you to go into some of the technical reasons why you kind of moved away from KOF and closer just to Polkit itself?
Okay, so one of the decisions was because we do not use all the features from Kout, so it's kind of, there are some dependencies that we are not completely used. So we just needed Polkit to authenticate the helper. It's basically that, because we start the debug service with super user, and yeah, it's basically that. It was more Andrew's decision than mine, and yeah.
Partitioning is a bit of a weird creature because you need to run multiple commands. You need to DD zeros onto your MBR. You need to reinitialize the MBR. Then you have to make partitions. Then you have to fill file systems. And so you have to run a bunch of things in a row, and all of it takes a long time. And so there's special authentication stuff happening anyway with the helper, and that kind of makes KAuth a weird match. Any other questions? Otherwise, I want to ask you about ZFS. Because with ZFS on Linux now being the source of truth for ZFS, and we have unified FreeBSD, Illumos, and Linux ZFS implementations, that's one of the most portable file systems around. Do you see kpmcore supporting ZFS soon?
Yeah, it's one of our plans for the next version is to work directly on file system, not only including new file system that we do not have support now, but including the, as I said before, some features, because now we only work with FS as with the file system support in a more, how can I say that, but in a more abstract way. So yeah, I can do that.
Cool. We got one more question over here.
Is support of hardware crypto, so USB stick with, say, something like a Nitro key or similar, that holds the key to your encrypted disk. Is this something that you currently support or have on the roadmap to support?
I'm not the best person to talk about that because I've not implemented deluxe support, so I'm not aware about encryption, and it's better to send a message to Andreas talking about that. And yeah, I'm not the best.
Last time I checked it, no.
Yeah, but that's a distro thing anyway, because you need to set the lux right. But then you also set up things like the initrd right in order to be able to look for the key. It needs to know that.
So there's an interaction between.
It's a complete integration thing.
Yeah, it's a complete integration thing that where kpmcore enters into the equation, but also whatever your distro does. Or Calamares.
And
Yeah.
or installer too. It needs to be clever enough to know what to do.
It's not clever enough.
Yeah.
Anything else? Otherwise, there is coffee and possibly cake. Oh, hang on. Johan is keeping you away from coffee and cake. I want you to know that.
Maybe I'm missing something, but SF disk, do you understand, does kpmcore understand GPT tables?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the best question ever. It was short and it had a one-word answer. Thank you. Let's give Kaio a hand.